Grace and peace multiply to you and yours in knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of the Most High. Thank God He allowed us to wake up to see another day with His precious breath of life in us to do His will. Hope everybody's having a great day, and hope everybody is safe in all their travels and staying strong in this thing. This is a lesson I like to call Teach Them Thy Sons. And that's based off of way back in the Old Testament, Deuteronomy chapter 4, where it says, teach them thy sons and thy sons' sons, which means to teach this word from generation to generation. And I'm going to read it to you, and I'm going to read it to you in the New Testament as well, to show you that God's word does not change. Now, before I even get started, our children of today, they are our future, right? We, as parents, those of us that have kids, we have to teach our children certain things. We have to teach them first and foremost that God's precious breath of life, it is truly precious. You see this picture? See this young man? He committed suicide. You know? And I'm not sure if it was because of bullying, but nowadays you got children killing themselves because of bullying and other silly foolishness. You got them killing themselves and killing others as well. That's commandment number 6, thou shalt not kill, including yourself. Here's another young man, killed himself. What are these schools, the social media, the government, the parents of today, what are they teaching these children? Obviously, they're not teaching them the Word of God. That has to change. So, that being said, open your Bibles to the New Testament, Ephesians chapter 6. Ephesians chapter 6, beginning with verse 1. Verse 1. Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Verse 2. Honor thy father and mother, which is the first commandment with promise, that it may be well with thee and thou mayest live long on the earth. Ain't that a beautiful thing? You obey your father and mother, which is in the commandments, which is in the Word of God, which is in God's law, you will live long on earth. Verse 4, and ye fathers, provoke not your children to wrath, but bring them up in the nurturing admonition of the Lord. So did it say, teach them how to be a pimp? Did it say, teach them how to sell drugs? Did it say, teach them how to be a murderer? No, it didn't. It said, bring them up in the nurturing admonition of the Lord. That's our job as parents. And when you send your children off to school, the school is responsible for your children. That's their job as well. You know the old saying, it takes a village to raise a child. Back in the old days, that's how it should be today. Because guaranteed, if it was like that today, you wouldn't see all this foolishness that these children are doing. Now, let's go to Colossians. Still New Testament, Colossians chapter 3. Colossians chapter 3, beginning with verse 18. And this is talking about the godly family. Verse 18, wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands. Whoa! Got a lot of wives today not submitting themselves to their own husbands. That's adultery. Ain't that in the commandments? Ain't that in God's law? We see it's growing and growing like a cancer. They don't honor and respect how important marriage is. But that's another lesson. He said, wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands as it is fit in the Lord. So if you submit yourself to somebody else's husband or another man that's not your husband, what you're doing is not fit with the Lord. Plain and simple. Verse 19, husbands, love your wives and be not bitter against them. Whoa. See, I'm not a male chauvinist. I like to treat everybody equal, just like God likes to treat everybody equal. He said, husbands, be not bitter against your wives. Got a lot of husbands out here committing adultery on their wives. We are in the last days. Verse 20. Now this is back to the children. Verse 20. Children, obey your parents in all things, for this is well pleasing unto the Lord. Fathers, provoke not your children to anger, lest they be discouraged. You're supposed to raise a child up in the way that they should go. And I'm going to read that in the Old Testament. You know? You ever see that movie, Deep Cover, with Lawrence Fishburne? At the very beginning of that movie, Mr. Fishburne was a child going on a ride in the car with his father, and his father went into a store and robbed it, came back with the money in his hand and got killed. He said, see, son, you know, that's not godly. What are they teaching the children in the homes today? You got parents nowadays who want to be friends with their children, and instead of raising them up properly, instead of teaching them what they need to know. You got parents drinking and getting high with their children. Like that's how it's supposed to be. You know. You ever see that movie, Boys in the Hood? No, not Boys in the Hood, Menace to Society? You ever see the movie called South Central? Well, the same actor, I believe his name is Glenn Plummer, he was in both movies. I believe it was in Menace to Society where he told Cain, hey, show my son that the way we was raised was messed up. You know, that ain't how we should be. And in the movie South Central, he got out of jail, he got out of prison, and he had a whole new lease on life. He wanted to save his son from these streets. That's our job as parents, as grown folks in society today. Our children are our future. Somebody better get back on their job, because it's going to continue to get worse. And I'm going to show you that too, out of the scriptures, out of prophecy. Verse 22, servants, obey in all things your masters according to the flesh. Whoa. This is talking about situations like on your job. You don't go cuss your boss out. You don't cuss your supervisor out and stuff like that. You know, especially if you're supposed to be a servant of God. You know, it's a time and a place for everything, and you're supposed to do things decently and in order. Because you don't know that the Lord may be whooping your boss to straighten you out. So you got to get yourself straight. Not with eye service as men pleasers, but in singleness of heart, fearing God. Verse 23, and whatsoever ye do, do it heartily as to the Lord and not unto men, knowing that of the Lord ye shall receive the reward of the inheritance, for ye serve the Lord Christ. Verse 25, but he that doeth wrong shall receive for the wrong which he hath done, and there is no respect of persons. That's right. God treats everybody equally. You know, contrary to popular belief. Now, let's go to the Old Testament. And let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 4. Deuteronomy 4. Because it is a shame that the way that our children are going today is not the way of the Lord. And it's evident Turn on the news every day, you're going to see somebody's child and got killed. You know, then that shows you what grown folks have been taught or not have been taught, because you got them running people over on motorcycles, running people over on bikes, running pedestrians over with their cars. No kind of respect for life at all. That shows you what they've been taught or haven't been taught. Deuteronomy chapter 4. In the book of Isaiah, chapter 3, verse 12, it says, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. Ain't that going on today? Because nobody has the mindset of God. Nobody is trying to be, everybody wants to be like the Joneses. Everybody wants to be like the world. The world can get you messed up. We see it all the time, every day. Deuteronomy chapter 4, beginning with verse 1. Now therefore hearken, O Israel, unto the statutes and unto the judgments which I teach you, for to do them. Whoa. He said, you got to do them, that ye may live. You do the Lord's commandments, you will live. And go in and possess the land which the Lord your God of your fathers giveth you. You shall not add unto the word which I command you, neither shall you diminish aught from it. Whoa. These religious leaders, don't they add to the word and take from it? That shows you that they haven't been taught either. And that ye may keep the commandments of the Lord your God which I command you. Your eyes have seen what the Lord did because of Baal Peor. For all the men that follow Baal Peor, the Lord thy God hath destroyed them from among you. But ye that did cleave unto the Lord your God are alive, every one of you, this day. It is a blessing to wake up and see another day. We see so many people dying. Nobody knows who's next. Got to straighten ourselves out. Got to take that look in the mirror. Examine yourself. Check yourself. Verse 5. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord my God commanded me, that you should do so in the land whither you go to possess it. Verse 6. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations. When you keep the Lord's commandments, this is your wisdom and understanding in the sight of the nations, which ye shall hear in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. For what nation is there so great who have God so nigh unto them, as the Lord our God is in all things that we call upon him for? Verse 8, what nation is there so great that have statutes and judgments so righteous as all this law, which I set before you this day? Verse 9, only take heed to thyself and keep thy soul diligently, lest thou forget the things which thine eyes have seen, and lest they depart from thy heart all the days of thy life. But teach them thy sons and thy sons' sons. Yes. Teach them what? Teach them the word of God. Teach them instruction from our Creator. Because it's only going to be blessings. It's only going to put you on the right path. A lot of the children of today are not on the right path. Now, let's go to, I'm going to show you, this ain't nothing new. I'm going to go even further back into the Old Testament. Go to Genesis chapter 18. To show you even the father of many nations, Abraham, knew better. Genesis chapter 18, beginning with verse 17. And the Lord said, shall I hide from Abraham that thing which I do, seeing that Abraham shall surely become a great and mighty nation, and all the nations of the earth shall be blessed in him. Abraham's seed is all over this planet. And the Lord said that his seed is going to be blessed in him. But Abraham showed us as an example. I'm going to read on verse 20. Verse 20. And the Lord said, because the cry of Sodom and Gomorrah is great, and because their sin is very grievous, I will go down now and see whether they have done altogether according to the cry of it, which is come unto me. And if not, I will know. I'm sorry, I wasn't supposed to read that far. But verse 19, for I know him, talking about Abraham, that he will command his children and his household after him, and they shall keep the way of the Lord. Keep the way of the streets? No. Keep the way of the entertainment industry? No. Keep the way of the Lord. To do justice and judgment, that the Lord may bring upon Abraham that which he's spoken of him. Now, I'm going to show you another example. I'll show you with Jacob. Turn to Genesis 35. Even Jacob had to let the people know, hey, you got to do right in the eyes of the Lord. Genesis 35, beginning with verse 1. And God said unto Jacob, arise, go up to Bethel and dwell there, and make there an altar unto God that appeared unto thee when thou fleddest from the face of Esau thy brother. Then Jacob said unto his household, and to all that were with him, put away the strange gods that are among you. Whoa. He said, put away all them idols, all them little dolls you got. Put away them strange gods, because they are no God. We got to serve the true and living God from here on. He said, put away the strange gods that are among you and be clean and change your garments. Now, let's go to Proverbs. Proverbs chapter 22, 1 verse 6. Proverbs 22 and verse 6. Verse 6. Train up a child in the way he should go. Whoa. Say, train up a child in the way the world should go? No. And when he is old, he will not depart from it. And brothers and sisters that have knowledge of this truth, we know that some have departed from it. Hope and pray that the Lord bring them back. Now, that was all. But this reiterates same thing in the New Testament. 2 Timothy chapter 3 verse 15 says, and that from a child thou hast known the holy scriptures, which is able to make thee wise unto salvation. So that just goes to show you, you got to teach them from generation to generation. It can't stop, but somewhere along the way, thousands of years ago, it stopped. And I'm going to show you that too. But first, go to Deuteronomy chapter 6. Go back to Deuteronomy chapter 6, beginning with verse 1. Now these are the commandments, the statutes, and the judgments which the Lord your God commanded to teach you, that ye might do them in the land whither ye go to possess it. Verse 2, that thou mightest fear the Lord thy God, to keep all his statutes and his commandments, which I command thee, thou and thy son and thy son's son. See? You got to teach your children. Teach your children the way of the Lord, and they will be blessed. And all the days of thy life. But if you don't know the ways of the Lord yourself, how you going to teach them anything according to God? All the days of thy life, and that thy days may be prolonged. Yes, see how that's reiterated over and over again? Verse 3, hear therefore, O Israel, and observe to do it, that it may be well with thee, and that ye may increase mightily, as the Lord God of thy fathers hath promised thee, in the land that floweth with milk and honey. Now, go over to Deuteronomy chapter 11. Deuteronomy 11, beginning with verse 19. And ye shall teach them your children. See, the Lord has instructions for us to teach our children as well as others, so our families can be strong in the Lord. And ye shall teach them your children, speaking of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up. And thou shalt write them upon the doorposts of thine house and upon thy gates, that your days may be multiplied. See, over and over. You keep the commandments, you keep God's instructions, he will multiply your days. If you're a disobedient child, you're a disobedient servant of God, The Lord is merciful, but he may end your days before your time. Verse 21, that your days may be multiplied in the days of your children in the land which the Lord sware unto your fathers to give them as the days of heaven upon the earth. For if ye shall diligently keep all these commandments which I command you, to do them, to love the Lord your God, to walk in all his ways, and to cleave unto him. Verse 23, then will the Lord drive out all these nations from before you, and ye shall possess greater nations and mightier than yourselves. We see the examples today. Our forefathers didn't do that. You read through the Bible where our forefathers were put in captivity after captivity. And I'm going to read just a sample of that. Go to Deuteronomy chapter 3, and then I'll show you. Deuteronomy chapter 3. Verse 18, and I'm going to skip down to verse 22. Deuteronomy chapter 3, verse 18. And I commanded you at that time, saying, now this is Moses talking, the Lord your God hath given you this land to possess it. Ye shall pass over armed before your brethren, the children of Israel, all that are meet for the war. Now verse 22. Ye shall not fear them, for the Lord your God shall fight for you. Yes. That's why our forefathers didn't realize that God was fighting their battles spiritually. But they wanted a king of flesh. But that's another lesson. Verse 23, and I besought the Lord at that time, saying, O Lord God, thou hast begun to show thy servant thy greatness and thy mighty hand. For what God is there in heaven or in earth that can do according to thy works and according to thy might? I pray thee, let me go over and see the good land that is beyond Jordan, that goodly mountain in Lebanon. Verse 26, but the Lord was wroth with me for your sakes, and would not hear me. And the Lord said unto me, let it suffice thee. Speak no more unto me of this matter. Whoa. He said, shut up, Moses. We ain't going to talk about it no more. You can see the land, but you're not going to go over into Jordan. You're not going to go over to the promised land. Because Moses let his emotions corrupt his judgment. And he smacked that rock out of anger. You know, the Lord didn't instruct him to do that. So the Lord had to do what he had to do. Now that was verse 26. I'm going to read on to verse 28. Verse 27. Get thee up into the top of Pisgah, and lift up thine eyes westward and northward and southward and eastward, and behold it with thine eyes, for thou shalt not go over this Jordan. Verse 28. But charge Joshua, and encourage him, and strengthen him, for he shall go over before this people, and he shall cause them to inherit the land which thou shalt see. Now, so he told Moses to get Joshua ready, because he's going to lead the people over into the promised land. So, now, let's go to the book of Judges. Judges chapter 2. Show you an example of what happened when Joshua died. Because Joshua led the people. But let's see what happened when Joshua died. Judges 2, beginning with verse 7. And the people served the Lord all the days of Joshua, and all the days of the elders that outlived Joshua, who had seen all the great works of the Lord that he did for Israel. And Joshua the son of Nun, the servant of the Lord, died, being 110 years old. Verse 9, and they buried him in the border of his inheritance in Timnath-Heres, in the mount of Ephraim, on the north side of the hill Gash. Verse 10, and also all that generation were gathered unto their fathers, which means they died too. And there arose another generation after them, which knew not the Lord. What? So the following generation, they knew not the Lord. You think that ain't changed to this day? Still going on big time. He said they knew not the Lord, nor yet the works which he had done for Israel. Verse 11, and the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord. Whoa. If they knew the Lord, they would have did evil. And served Baalim. And they forsook the Lord God of their fathers, which brought them out of the land of Egypt, and followed other gods of the gods of the people that were round about them, and bow themselves unto them and provoke the Lord to anger. Still going on today. Everybody want to be like the Joneses. But the Joneses ain't serving the true and living God. Verse 13. And they forsook the Lord and served Baal and Ashtaroth. Whoa, pagan gods. Verse 14. And the anger of the Lord was hot against Israel, and he delivered them into the hands of spoilers that spoiled them, and he sold them into the hands of their enemies round about, so that they could not any longer stand before their enemies, because the Lord was fighting their battles for them. But when they started serving other gods, the Lord had to let them suffer. He had to take his hedges from around them. Now, that was verse 14. Now, let's go to Isaiah chapter 51. Because that the Lord don't change. He still will protect his servants, but if you serve something else, the Lord is not going to keep his hedges around. The Lord will allow things to happen to you, and we see it going on today. Isaiah 51, beginning with verse 17. Awake, awake, stand up, O Jerusalem, which has drunk at the hand of the Lord the cup of his fury. Whoa, because the Lord is pissed. Even his chosen ain't following his instructions. They want to be like the world. At the cup of his fury, thou hast drunken the dregs of the cup of trembling, and wrung them out. There is none to guide her among all the sons whom she have brought forth. Neither is there any that taketh her by the hand of all the sons that she hath brought up. These two things are come unto thee. Who shall be sorry for thee? Desolation and destruction, and the famine and the sword. By whom shall I comfort thee? Thy sons have fainted. They lie at the head of all the streets, as a wild bull in a net. Whoa. We see that today. Bulls on the corn, full of rage. You know, you look at the youth of today, everybody's so angry. You know what I'm saying? Full of rage. You know, want to pick up a gun to solve their problems. You know, want to pick up a knife, instead of thinking, instead of having some wisdom and squashing things, they want to take somebody else's life. Then you got others that's taking their own lives. We got to teach our children. He said, they are full of the fury of the Lord, the rebuke of thy God. I'm going to keep reading. Verse 21. Therefore hear now this, thou afflicted and drunken, but not with wine. Whoa. He said, hear this, thou afflicted and drunken, but not with wine. What are they afflicted and drunken with? False doctrine. Because the religious leaders are not teaching them the instructions of the Lord. I can read the scripture where it say, and I might even read it where it say the prophet's gonna fall with you. You talking about false prophets. And they're big time today. Because they lying to the people. They ain't teaching you instructions of the Lord. Verse 22. Thus saith the Lord thy God, the Lord thy God, and thy God that pleadeth the cause of his people. Behold, I have taken out of thy hand the cup of trembling, even the dregs of the cup of my fury. Thou shalt no more drink it again, but I will put it into the hand of them that afflict thee. Which have said to thy soul, bow down, that we may go over. And thou hast laid thy body as the ground and as the street to them that went over. This is pointing to a particular nation of people. The only nation of people that almost every nation on this planet have taken part in their captivity and slavery. That's another lesson. Now, go back to Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy chapter 8. Beginning 2 verses here, verse 5 and 6. Deuteronomy 8, verse 5 and 6. Because, it behooves me, man. Everybody got these PhDs and college degrees and doctorates. And, you got a lot of people on public assistance, welfare and whatnot. And they got to talk to these case workers and case managers with these degrees. But the case managers may have been raised around a lot of children. They may have, as adults, a lot of children in their families, but ain't got children themselves. So how you gonna teach me how to raise my child and you ain't got no children of your own? It don't make sense. It don't make sense. But that's another lesson. Deuteronomy 8, verses 5 and 6. Thou shalt also consider in thine heart that as a man chasteneth his child, so the Lord thy God chasteneth thee. That's right. You don't follow his instruction, he gonna whoop you. Verse 6. Therefore thou shalt keep the commandments of the Lord thy God, to walk in his ways and to fear him. Yes. Now, go to Proverbs chapter 13. One verse here. Proverbs 13. Verse 24. He that spareth his rod hateth his son. Whoa. You don't discipline your child. You don't love your child. Because you're going to let them run out there and go buck wild in the world and do whatever and hurt themselves. Just like I read the scripture earlier where it say, train up a child in the way they should go. If you're teaching your child how to ride a bike, you ain't going to just let that child go off. You're going to have some training wheels on that bike. And you're going to ride with them day after day after day until they get it right. You know what I'm saying? We all teach our children ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. Teach them the ways of the Lord. Teach them right. Don't teach them wrong. But anyway, Proverbs 13, verse 24, he said, he that spareth his child, his rod hateth his son, but he that loveth him chasteneth him betimes. That means early. You're going to wake up, you're going to make sure you provide for your children. You're going to make sure that they have been instructed from your wisdom to do what's right so they can survive and be successful and prosperous. Now, go to the New Testament, Hebrews chapter 12. Hebrews 12. That's right before you get to the book of James. Hebrews chapter 12, beginning with verse 1. Wherefore, seeing we also are compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which doth so easily beset us, and let us run with patience the race that is set before us. Looking unto Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is set down at the right hand of the throne of God. For consider him that endured such contradiction of sinners against himself, lest ye be wearied and faint in your minds. Ye have not yet resisted unto blood, striving against sin. And ye have forgotten the exhortation which speaketh unto you as unto children. My son, despise not thou the chastening of the Lord. So when the Lord whoop you, don't despise it. Because the Lord loves those. The Lord chastises those who he loves. Those ain't getting no chastisement. I feel for them. I'm going to read on. Nor faint when thou art rebuked of him. Verse 6. For whom the Lord loveth, he chasteneth, and scourgeth every son whom he receiveth. Verse 7. If ye endure chastening, God deal with you as with sons. For what son is he whom the Father chasteneth not? But if ye be without chastisement, whereof all are partakers, then are ye bastards and not sons. That shows and proof right there. The Lord don't love you if he ain't whooping you. That was verse 8, verse 9. Furthermore, we have had fathers of our flesh which corrected us. That's right. Those that have been blessed to have both parents in the home, whatever, they corrected us. They disciplined us. You know what I'm saying? When we did wrong. And we gave them reverence. Yes. We feared them and respected them. So, shall we not much rather be in subjection unto the Father of spirits and live? Putting the question on the table. You respect and reverence your parents. Why not respect the Father of spirits, your Creator, and live? You follow his instruction, you will have a long life. Now, go to Matthew chapter 10. Matthew chapter 10. Beginning with verse 1. I want to show you something. Verse 1, and I'm going to skip down to verse 5. And when he had called unto him his 12 disciples, and he gave them power against unclean spirits to cast them out, and to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease. Now skip down to verse 5. These 12 Jesus sent forth and commanded them, saying, Go not into the way of the Gentiles. Whoa. He said, did he say go not amongst the Gentiles? He said, go not into the way of the Gentiles. Because the children of Israel were sent to be a light to the whole world. A light to the Gentiles as well as Israel. No. In other words, because the Gentiles during these days, and still going on today, worship other gods. They do paganism and idolatry and traditions of man. The Lord don't want you to do that. He said, go not into the way of the Gentiles, and into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not. Verse 6, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Whoa! So that's a protocol. But I'm going to show you another part of this protocol, because you have to read the whole book. He said, you got to go teach Israel. He said, go to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Now, I'm going to read verse 7. And as ye go, preach, saying, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Now, go to Matthew 28. Because this right here was before Jesus died and was resurrected on the cross. Matthew 28 is after his resurrection. I want to show you something. Pertaining to the lesson, bear with me and have some understanding. This was after Jesus' resurrection to show and prove that we taught our children how to count from 1 to 3. We taught our children how to read. We taught our children how to do things, so we all know how to count, right? Matthew 28, beginning with verse 18. Okay, wait a minute. And Jesus came and spake unto them, saying, all power is given unto me in heaven and in earth. Verse 19, go ye therefore and teach all nations. Whoa. Because we got a lot of people out here saying only Israel going to be saved. Why would we teach all nations if only Israel going to be saved? That don't make sense. Everybody has a chance of salvation. Salvation for all nations to those that believe. Now, go to Luke 24. Because Jesus said that, he said, teach all nations after his resurrection, right? Luke 24 show you the same thing, but I'm going to show you some other things too. Learning something on your way to learn something. Luke 24, beginning with verse 1. Verse 1. Now upon the first day of the week, very early in the morning, they came unto the sepulchre, that's the grave, bringing the spices which they had prepared, and certain others with them. And they found the stone rolled away from the sepulchre. This is Jesus' grave. The stone was rolled away. And they entered in and found not the body of the Lord Jesus. Whoa. So they came early in the morning on the first day of the week. He was already gone. That's right. He was already gone. He was resurrected. He did not rise on no Sunday, and he did not die on no Good Friday. That's why you have to read the prophecy of Daniel chapter 9, where it tells you the Messiah will be cut off, which means killed, in the midst of the week. What's the midst of the week? Hump day. Wednesday, not Friday. But I'm going to show you something though. Verse 4. And it came to pass, as they were much perplexed thereabout, behold, two men stood by them in shining garments. And as they were afraid and bowed down their faces to the earth, they said unto them, why seek ye the living among the dead? Because Jesus was resurrected. He was already gone when they got there on the first day of the week. That was verse 5. I'm going to keep reading to verse 9. He is not here. Whoa. He's not here. It's the first day of the week. Early in the morning on the first day of the week. He gone. He ain't here. What you looking for him for? You better read them scriptures. But is risen. Remember how he spake unto you when he was yet in Galilee, saying, the Son of Man must be delivered into the hands of sinful men, and be crucified, and the third day rise again. That's right. Verse 8, and they remembered his words. See, they remembered after the angels spoke to him. Verse 9, and returned from the sepulchre and told all these things unto the 11 and to all the rest. Now, skip down to verse 12. Then arose Peter and ran unto the sepulchre, and stooping down, he beheld the linen clothes laid by themselves, and departed, wondering in himself at that which was come to pass, because Jesus told them. Now, that he was going to rise the third day. Now, I'm going to keep reading. Verse 13, and behold, two of them went that same day to a village called Emmaus, which was from Jerusalem about 80 furlongs. A furlong is about 220 something yards. So 80, that's 60 times that. Verse 14, and they talked together of all things which had happened. And it came to pass that while they communed together and reasoned, Jesus himself drew near and went with them. But their eyes were holden that they should not know him. They didn't recognize him. Verse 17, and he said unto them, what manner of communication are these that ye have one to another, as ye walk and are sad? And one of them, whose name was Cleopas, answering, said unto him, art thou only a stranger in Jerusalem, and hast not known the things which are come to pass there in these days? And he said unto them, what things? And they said unto him, concerning Jesus of Nazareth, which was a prophet, mighty in deed and word before God and all the people, and how the chief priests and our rulers delivered him to be condemned to death, and have crucified him. Verse 21, but we trusted that it had been he which should have redeemed Israel. Whoa. I went here because this is how important you have to search the scriptures. Because they knew some prophecy. They knew that the Lord was going to come back and redeem Israel, but it wasn't time yet. They missed that scripture where he had to die for the sins of man first. And beside all this, today is the third day since these things were done. Verse 22, yea, and certain women also of our company made us astonished, which were early at the sepulchre. And when they found not his body, they came, saying that they had also seen a vision of angels, which said that he was alive. That's right, he was resurrected. Verse 24, and certain of them which were with us went to the sepulchre and found it even so as the women had said, but him they saw not. Now that was verse 24. I'm going to keep reading to verse 27. Verse 25, then he said unto them, O fools and slow of heart to believe all that the prophets have spoken. Now this sweet Jesus. Jesus was humble and merciful, but he didn't play that foolishness. He didn't play about them lies and whatnot and ignorance of the word of God, especially when he was around the people. And you know what I'm saying? He said, ought not Christ to have suffered these things and to enter into his glory? Verse 27, and beginning at Moses and all the prophets, he expounded unto them in all the scriptures the things concerning himself. That's right. Now, skip down to verse 44. That's right, because this book is about God and his people. If you don't read this book, you won't know about God or his people. Verse 44, and he said unto them, these are the words which I spake unto you while I was yet with you, that all things must be fulfilled, which were written in the law of Moses, and in the prophets, and in the Psalms. Psalms is the book of Jesus, contrary to popular belief. If people don't know that, they better read it. They'll find out that it points to Jesus. It says that all things must be fulfilled which were written in the law of Moses, and in the prophets, and in the Psalms concerning me. That's right. Verse 45, then opened he their understanding, that they might understand the scriptures. Didn't Jesus say in John chapter 5, verse 39, search the scriptures. In them ye think ye have eternal life, but they are they that testify of me. When you read the scriptures, you are learning about Jesus, if you have some understanding. Now, let's go to the Old Testament again. Go to Isaiah 49. Isaiah 49. This is also about Jesus. This is also about God and his people. Isaiah 49, beginning with verse 1. Verses 1 through 6, and then I'm going to skip down to verse 8. Listen, O isles, unto me, and hearken ye people from afar. The Lord hath called me from the womb, from the bowels of my mother have he made mention of my name. And he hath made my mouth like a sharp sword. Whoa. Didn't Jesus say in Matthew chapter 10, verse 34, he said, I ain't come to bring peace, I came to bring a sword. And he hath made my mouth like a sharp sword, and the shadow of his hand have he hid me, and made me a polished shaft, and his quiver have he hid me, and said unto me, Thou art my servant, O Israel, in whom I will be glorified. This is the Father talking to the Son. Verse 4, Then I said, I have labored in vain, I have spent my strength for naught, and in vain. Yet surely my judgment is with the Lord, and my work with my God. Verse 5, And now saith the Lord that formed me from the womb to be his servant, to bring Jacob again to him. Whoa. Because we got people over in the land saying that the Lord gathered them in 1948. But ain't no peace in the land, so the Lord has not gathered Jacob again yet. That's another lesson. Though Israel be not gathered, whoa, he tell you again. Yet shall I be glorious in the eyes of the Lord, and my God shall be my strength. Verse 6, And he said, It is a light thing that thou shouldest be my servant, to raise up the tribes of Jacob, and to restore the preserved of Israel. I will also give thee for a light to the Gentiles, that thou mayest be my salvation unto the end of the earth. Now, skip down to verse 8. Thus saith the Lord, In an acceptable time have I heard thee, and in a day of salvation have I helped thee, and I will preserve thee, and give thee for a covenant of the people, to establish the earth, to cause to inherit the desolate heritages. Verse 9, That thou mayest say to the prisoners, Go forth, to them that are in darkness, wake up, come out of the darkness, come into the light, come into the truth. Show yourselves, they shall feed in the ways, and their pasture shall be in all high places. Verse 10, They shall not hunger nor thirst, neither shall the heat nor sun smite them. For he that hath mercy on them shall lead them, even by the springs of water shall he guide them. That's why Jesus was telling the woman, I will give, if you ask me to drink, I'll give you fountains of living water. Now, let's go to Matthew 23. Matthew 23. One verse here, verse 37. O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, thou that killest the prophets, and stonest them which are sent unto thee, how often would I have gathered thy children together? Whoa, this is Jesus talking. And that's why people don't know Jesus was back in the Old Testament. That's why I read you Isaiah 49. He said, how often would I have gathered thy children together, even as a hen gathers her chickens under her wings, and ye would not. Whoa, because the people would not follow the Lord's instructions. Now, go to Hosea chapter 4, beginning with verse 1. Hosea 4, verse 1. Hear the word of the Lord, ye children of Israel, for the Lord hath a controversy with the inhabitants of the land, because there is no truth, nor mercy, nor knowledge of God in the land. Still going on today. By swearing and lying and killing and stealing and committing adultery, they break out, and blood toucheth blood. We still see it today, right? Verse 3, Therefore shall the land mourn, and everyone that dwelleth therein shall languish, with the beasts of the field and with the fowls of the heaven. Yea, the fishes of the sea also shall be taken away. Yet let no man strive, nor reprove another, for thy people are they that strive with the priest. Verse 5, Therefore shalt thou fall in the day, and the prophet also shall fall with thee in the night. That's the false prophets. Because you following these false prophets, you're going to fall, and they're going to fall with you. And I will destroy thy mother. Whoa, what mother is that? Could that be Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots? Verse 6, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Whoa! Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me. Seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God, I also will forget thy children. Better wake up. Train up a child in the way they should go. Train them up in the Lord. Not the ways of the world. Not traditions of man. Go to the New Testament. Ephesians chapter 4. One more verse and then I'll be done. Ephesians 4. Beginning with verse 1. I therefore, the prisoner of the Lord, beseech you that ye walk worthy of the vocation wherewith ye are called, with all lowliness and meekness, with long suffering, forbearing one another in love. Verse 3, endeavoring to keep the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace. There is one body and one Spirit, even as ye are called in one hope of your calling. One Lord, one faith, one baptism, one God and Father of all, who is above all and through all and in you all. Verse 7. Oh, my bad. I read that wrong. Skip down to verse 17. I was a little hasty, my bad. Verse 7. Ephesians 4 and verse 17. This I say therefore, and testify in the Lord, that ye henceforth walk not as other Gentiles walk. Because Paul was sent to Israel first. Israel didn't want to hear the word, just like today. So he had to be a light to the Gentiles. Walk not as other Gentiles walk, in the vanity of their mind. Whoa. Having the understanding darkened, being alienated from the life of God through the ignorance that is in them, because of the blindness of their heart, who being past feeling have given themselves over unto lasciviousness, that's uncleanness, to work all uncleanness with greediness, riches and gain. But ye have not so learned Christ, if so be that ye have heard him and have been taught by him, as the truth is in Jesus, that ye put off concerning the former conversation the old man, which is corrupt according to the deceitful lust. I read a little too far, but I'm going to keep going. And be renewed in the spirit of your mind. Oh, yes. That's right. In Romans 12, he said, I beseech you therefore, brother, by the renewing of your mind. You got to change your mindset. You got to get on accord with Christ. Verse 24. And that ye put on the new man, which after God is created in righteousness and true holiness. Now, go back to Colossians chapter 3. This time, start with verse 1. If ye then be risen with Christ, seek those things which are above, where Christ sitteth on the right hand of God. Set your affection on things above, not on things of the earth. Come out of the world, my people. Now, that was verse 3. Skip down to verse 9. Lie not one to another, seeing that ye have put off the old man with his deeds, and put on the new man, which is renewed in knowledge, after the image of him that created him. Yes. Teach them thy sons and thy sons' sons, sons and daughters. Teach our children the ways of the Lord, not the ways of man. Because we see the results of teaching them the ways of man today. It's not going to get any better. You're going to continue to turn on the news, even though you got people say, I don't even watch the news because it's too depressing. Well, then you got to do something about that. We got to teach our children to come up in the ways of the Lord. Not the ways of man is destruction every time. We got to do better. When you know better, you do better. Grace and peace multiply to you and yours in the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of the Most High God, the Savior to those that keep his commandments. Peace.